Lost in darkness, the Bulldogs lost their way. Losing everything and forgot how to play. Along came the kid with long blonde hair. His name is Jeff Preston, do not despair. Doggies fans, are you ready? Ready?
Yes, we are ready. Welcome to All Things Bulldogs. G'day, Mark. How you going, mate?
Good, Michael. G'day, Bulldogs fans and the others.
Yeah, all the others are tuning in just to pile on the hate. All the haters we get. Look, the season's finished. We've got the internationals coming up. We had the grand final. But guess what? We're going to keep plugging away because I found last year by doing podcasts, doing videos, the off-season just flew. It was great. So we're going to keep coming on and having a chat because there will be things to talk about. Welcome, Dave. How you going, mate? And welcome to all the viewers who have joined so far. We're going to break down this grand final. Tell us what your thoughts about it are. Hopefully, everyone's cool with the result and all that sort of stuff. A few people did their money. Well, a lot of people did because a lot of people backed the Storm. I certainly didn't. Welcome, Lucas. Did you have a bet, Mark?
No, mate, I didn't. And luckily, otherwise I would have done my money as well, Michael.
Yeah, well, Pete Webber from All Things Bulldogs, he backed the Storm. He had a multi going. So I was going for the Storm because of that. But I was mainly just going for Nick Meaney and Paul Alamotti on the night. And I always have a soft spot for any, kids that used to be Bulldog supporters like Ryan Pappenhausen. So he's got the dog in him. I think we should buy him in a couple of years. You reckon the Storm will let him go?
Yeah, not a chance in the world.
Well, they reckon Falongo is essentially they've got to discuss, if he doesn't have a sort of a pathway there, can leave or something. So it's going to come down to him or Pappenhausen. Paul Alamotti had a strong game. Yes, he did. I thought he was in their top 5 players on the night. Very good. Very good in the moments. Anyway, so what are you doing? What's happening out there, Mark? The Birds there tonight?
The Birds? No, the Birds are all hiding from the Storms, Mick. Just got smashed by some supercell, whatever they call it. And the backyard looks like a tornado hit it, which it probably much did. So, so that's as exciting as my life gets, Michael.
Well, maybe Bellamy's just unleashed fury on the world. And I say that with a bit of tongue in cheek because there's some big storms coming around the world and we're getting a few ourselves now. So it is storm season. So there you go. But not last Sunday night. What did you think about the game, mate? Tell me what your thoughts were.
Mate, it was high class. It was two of the best teams going at it, and they did. They went at it. And I thought, well, Penrith deserved to win, but I thought Melbourne were very brave.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Well, let's bring up the things that don't lie.
The stats, Michael.
So we'll go through it. They both had pretty much 44 sets to 43, but time in possession an extra 6 minutes for the Panthers. Panthers threw a lot of offloads in this match, the most offloads they've thrown all season, kept the ball moving, kept turning it back inside, kept going off at Harry Grant. They've just played the long, patient game, didn't try and win it with every play. I felt the Storm, people didn't like their attack, but I felt they asked the Panthers a lot of questions and desperation. And then that forced the Storm into making some pretty poor options in attack, but that comes with fatigue as well. But here's the point I wanted to make. I put out a post at halftime saying that the Melbourne Storm were absolutely, it was disgraceful how badly they were cheating in the ruck for that first half. This average play the ball speed of 3.64 seconds would have been way over 4 seconds for that first half. If you go watch it, the amount of times that the Storm were just able to, have an extra flop player come in just to push someone back down. And the ref, I think he gave 1-6 again in the entire first half for the Panthers. I just couldn't believe it. The Storm, 3.19 seconds average over a whole game is basically that's good going in a big match. 3.64, that's normal for like a grand final. But, I just felt it was horrible. And part of the reason why the Storm were able to sort of stay in it, and the fact that the Panthers were able to make 51 metres on only 4 per set on only 4 line breaks off slow play, the balls essentially, says a lot as well about how good they played and how much pressure they put the Storm under just through constantly going about their business. I also felt the Storm rattled them a little bit in that first half. Like the Panthers struggled to get to the 5th kick for a couple of sets there. So I thought, they're off their game a bit here. But I think that try before half-time to the Clive Churchill medal winner was probably the biggest point in that whole match. That's that's a little bit of the summary before we talk about the bunker and stuff. But what else do you think, Mark?
Well, I thought Ivan Cleary is a genius, actually. And it's evidenced by Nathan Cleary running 200 metres.
Yeah.
They wore out that middle, which is obviously Melbourne's strength. So the inside balls, they kept turning it in. The halves kept running at the forwards. It was pretty good to watch, actually, how they dismantled the Storm. I don't know. Ivan Cleary is probably going to be one of the next great coaches of the modern era, I would say. And the Penrith boys, they just nailed it. They iced it. They did it to perfection, and Melbourne just ran out of steam. So what more can you say about Ivan Cleary and the Penrith Panthers? What's that, 4 in a row? Well done to them.
They earn everything they got. I think they're going to struggle the next couple of years. And that's a big call to make, and many have made that call before. People making that call 2 years ago. The systems in place, the juniors and the kids in the area, their belief in the whole Penrith thing and wanting to be Panthers takes them a long way. And look, there's still a bunch of juniors we haven't really heard much of yet, which are going to we're going to get to know pretty soon and get to know them pretty well. And I think they'll be there knocking on the door for another premiership for the next few years. But it's time. I just can't see it happening again. Can't see it.
Well, we've said that plenty of times, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we've said that I suppose many have looked at their squad and even looking at their squad this year and going, I'm like, you're looking at the Josh King, who I thought had a really good game, put on some massive hits.
He was good.
And the likes of Katoa is probably the second best player on the field, to be fair. They struggled with him all day. He's going to announce himself as one of the best edge back rowers in the comp.
Sure.
Yep. I just felt that Lucas summed it up pretty well there. Isaiah Yeo could have won the Clive Churchill and I wouldn't have had a problem with it, but it come down to moments, which is what they normally vote on. He's got the captaincy for the tests, so congratulations to him.
for sure.
Aussie guy says Penrith got away with signing the balls in the grand final as well in parts of the game. Yeah, of course they did. There were definitely times where they flopped and did their thing. It's a grand final. But Melbourne were just, many could say were really good at it, but it was so blatant, in my opinion, that the whistle should have been blown a couple of times. I think we would have seen things open up a little bit more. And I just want to say something about James Fisher, Harris and Moses Leota. I don't think they were as dominant as we've seen them in grand finals with the ball. They definitely had their moments. But without the ball, the amount of, times they made important tackles, big tackles on little guys and stuff throughout that game was phenomenal. Like, they're just absolute professionals in that center of the field. And that's probably where I think Penrith have the edge, because Melbourne started to fall apart in that part of the game as the game wore on. They just started to concede a lot more through the middle.
You've seen the vision of Leota smashing Harry Grant in the back from the kickoff?
Yeah. Penalty.
Of the week.
Yeah, but that's the grand final. Like, there was high tackles from both sides. Some pretty blatant ones that I saw from Penrith on Melbourne in that second half, especially. Couple in the first. And it's funny, that choke that Alamotti was doing on Munster. I can't stand Munster. I know he's a great footballer, but even when I looked at that, I went, he hasn't bitten him. That's just circumstance. He just didn't bite down. Like, Jack, there was a whole heap of players which were in that scenario where they just, unfortunately, bit down. Hey?
Oh, like Kyle Flanagan.
Oh, well, Kyle bit the nose on the way out. Like, but more so Jack Whiten and that, they were sort of more similar. But that's crept into the game. It's a grapple tackle, which
could be
is around the chin, putting pressure on around the face sort of thing. And it's there's a few teams that are really good at it. The Cowboys are one. Canterbury started getting good at it because Stephen Crichton's very good at it. And Penrith are very good at it. And Melbourne are also quite good at it. So, it was a terrible game. It was ref completely different in the whole final series. It was a terrible game. It was ref completely different in the whole final series. Yeah, that happens though, doesn't it? That's what I mean. Like, the commentators of the game, they sit there and say they want an open game with the ball in play. They want the refs to put the whistle away. Cool. But say that in the regular season as well. Don't sit there and get angry because the ref didn't blow a penalty in Golden Point for the Warriors and the Bulldogs won with the field goal. Don't carry on about that then. If you want the ref to put the whistle away, they've got to put the whistle away.
That'd be a good.
Hey?
That'd be a good thing, wouldn't it, Michael? There's too many penalties that influence games. Let the two teams sort it out. A la the grand final. Best team won.
There you go. It's like, they let go of that Adam G because apparently, many said he let the game go. Well, Klein let it go too. It was 4-3 the penalty count and 2-6 against each. And really, the penalties it wasn't an even up sort of scenario. They were pretty blatant, most of the calls that were called. But he could have blown that P out of that whistle about another 20 times or 30 times easily.
Yeah. Did you know Mash Klein's uncle played for the Panthers?
That's what Aussie guy's telling us here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. I beg your pardon.
And Grant Atkins is on some junior board apparently. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like, Bulldogs are going to produce referees as well. Greg Hartley was a great referee. He's a Bulldog through and through. I felt Hollywood Hartley was a very good referee.
Hollywood was good, wasn't he?
Well, Gomersall's horrible.
Oh, Gomersall. Oh, the grass.
But Hollywood was good. Yeah, it doesn't matter if Ashley Klein is. Look, Ashley Klein doesn't support. His stats prove he doesn't support anyone in the comp. I think Ashley Klein, though, doesn't mind, a first try scorer or something like that, or half-time, full-time result. Like, when I watch Ashley Klein, I can see him just, all for one side 1 minute and then all for the other team the next minute with no consistency whatsoever. I don't know how he gets the big games. I don't. I think many people feel the same about Ashley Klein.
Lack of competition at this stage, I believe.
We need more investment in refs, and refs, there needs to be.
Absolutely.
Look, football commentators are the biggest problem with refs. Refs have made some howlers in other codes like AFL and that, but not the same. They don't get talked about. Most people don't know who the refs are. They don't care. You watch basketball, netball, the decision gets made. Oh, we got dudded on a couple of calls, so what? Oh, it was a travel, so what? There's just too much talk about the referee. I love talking about Jared Sutton because he's a cheat against the Bulldogs. It's been proven. But there's a lot of other refs there that are just so, just comes down to the rule. I think we just need to change some rules to make it easier for them. Look at rugby union, how, you watch some of their referees in their game and you go, oh, my God, that bloke is so annoying. But they're so consistent for both sides most of the time. And the team asserting the dominance gets the 50-50, which rugby league tries to do as well, but it's just not the same. Union drives me nuts. Penalty. Oh, you weren't horizontal. It's ridiculous. Thought Xavier Coates had a strong game.
Outstanding, actually. Absolutely outstanding. Probably the best game I've ever seen him play, actually.
He's got a lot of heart, Xavier. I'm a bit upset that he's playing for Australia, though. I'd like to see him play for PNG. I just they need all the good players they can get. And I think he's one of the best. They put him under a lot of pressure too. They gave him nothing.
Liam target on him.
Yeah, he did well to stand up to it. Like, he's a sore boy still, I reckon. But let's go back to this bunker business. Storm got dudded with that no try call, and both on-field ref and bunker ref of Penrith Panther Lynx. Aussie, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. They didn't get dudded at all. There was 5 Panthers around it, and the clear footage has come out. It's clear he didn't get the ball down. The ball looked like it was on its sort of tilted on its axis, right? But it wasn't. It was actually closer to horizontal. That was the guy's arm underneath it from the time they went under there. The reason they don't show us that in grand finals and don't show the people at the game is because they want people to debate it after it. They want, Fox League released 14 articles within 24 hours about the same call with the bunker, giving various versions of it from different journos. And everyone was just biting, typing, looking at all the advertisers coming through. They've got you by the balls. It was a try. And the way you couldn't expect the ref to say it was a try straight away because there's no way he could have seen. So that means it goes up as no try, which is what happens most of the time these days. And then you can't expect it to be overturned. And that's the same with the Taruva try in reverse. Not clearly able to overturn it. And that's just how the adjudication happens. So I don't think they were dudded at all. I think the best team won, and I think their coach will be preparing the Storm for another grand final, and I think they will be very, very hard to beat next year. I think the Panthers will struggle to get close to the Storm next year, but we'll see what happens. What's your thoughts on that, Mark?
Panthers, no Jerome Luai, no Fisher Harris. I think that's a massive hole that I don't think the Panthers can fill in the next 12 months. I'm sure they can in the junior pathways in the near future. The Storm is going to be the same as they were this year. They're going to be hard to beat next year, Michael.
Yeah, mate, 100% agree. Oh, there's the crickets again at your house.
Crickets?
Yeah. So,
Crickets.
Aussie, you've seen the photo of that picture. The point of the ball isn't the point of the ball. It's the bloke's arm. There's a high definition video that shows the actual thing in motion. It's no try. Yeah. And they actually showed Bellamy and Frank Panisi after the game. They brought them into a room and showed them because they knew that they'd be pissed off about it before they went and talked about it in the press conference. Blaze, g'day, Blaze. Blaze Hayes. I think Ivan Cleary out coach Craig Bellamy. Well, that's not easy to do, but I think you're right, mate.
Can't argue
I think
with that.
Mark would agree.
Yes.
That doesn't happen often. Aussie says, I was surprised Jared Sutton didn't get picked. Yeah, me too. Anyway, it was an illusion that it was a try, and there was an arm underneath from All Things Bulldogs on the chat group. There you go. What else can we say about that game?
Well, what can't you say about the game? It was the ball was in play probably more than any other game of the year. Both sides smashed each other at every opportunity. Penrith were just better at what they were doing. The game plan from Ivan Cleary was absolute genius to wear at the middle of the Melbourne Storm. And like I said, Nathan Cleary just ran all night and made those big forwards work. And in the end, it just holds. So they had no gas left to form any sort of counter attack. So as much as they tried, and I thought Melbourne were incredibly brave, I think Ivan Cleary, he should have probably got the Clive Churchill medal. Actually, that was absolute genius coaching.
Who should have got it, you reckon?
Ivan Cleary.
Oh, the Clive Churchill medal winner, the coach.
Yeah.
Geography, Greg, welcome to the podcast, mate. I think the Tigers can top what Penrith have done in the coming years. Well, many would laugh at that, Geography, Greg, but guess what? They've got the juniors to do it. If they have the right people in the right areas doing the right things, that's how you do it.
Yeah, well, they do now. They got Shane Richardson in charge, the former CEO of Souths.
He will help.
He will definitely help. And Lachlan Galvin, young fella, he's going to be a star. They've also got Jerome Luai for next year. Yeah, they're going to be okay, I think.
Yeah, I like the young. They got, I think Benji will go all right, but they're going to keep putting pressure on Benji. They're going to make it all about him, and I don't think it should be all about him.
I think
they just have to play better. I think what you got to see as a Tigers fan, and same with us, is not how many wins or losses you have every year. Forget about the outcomes for a minute and whether you make finals or don't make finals. Fuck the media. Stuff their bullshit. Oh, which coach is under pressure this year? Forget all that. Watch your team and how they're competing and playing. Now, if they're competing and they're in the contest in most of the games and they're up and they're and new people come in and they're still in the game, they might still have a negative win and loss record, but if they're, playing better football, it means they've improved, right? That's how you've got to look at it. And then the wins will start to come and then they get more confident. Then you get more and more wins. You go back to us, we went from, even last year, right, where they said we went backwards. Yes, in some stats, yes. It fell apart in some games, but you look at the team that lined up. Khaled Rajab was at 5'8". Missed 4 tackles, which led to 4 tries in the first 20 minutes of a match. He was given a baptism of fire for sure. But what I'm saying is that we went from 3 wins to 3 wins to 7 wins. The first 10 rounds under Barrett in 2022, I think most of the games we lost by less than 10 points, which you couldn't have said that about the year before. And we're expected to win probably 2 or 3 more matches. Potter comes in, plays some footy, win a few games, compete towards the end. We're in the hunt for the first half of the season last year, when that hadn't been the case. Like, we were competing in that first half of the year. Then it fell apart, which I think is better than doing nothing at the start of the year and then making a run when you've got nothing to lose.
Keeps us all interested, doesn't it?
It does. So, and then this year, they just kept their nose above water, showed that they had some resilience on their try line, gave us something to believe in. And you know what? There was a lot less players in our club being death-ridden compared to previous years, which was a positive. Only had to defend 1 or 2 players this year rather than 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 and the coach. So, yeah, look, next year for us, I think you can expect us to perform better. Does that mean we climb the ladder? I'm going to ask you a question, Mark. What do you think about the odds of the Bulldogs? What's your thoughts on that? 11-1, 4th favourite.
I think it's probably fairly accurate. I think we will probably do 4th next year. I think we'll go better than the Sharks. Sicily Tupanua, Tom Amone, not sure how he's going to go yet, but I'd say that's about right.
Yeah. So, look, I think 11-1 skinny odds for any fan. Dogs go and make the top 4. You're a genius. I think those odds are based on knowing the amount of money that's going to come for the Dogs anyway, especially from faithful Bulldogs fans.
Sorry, I thought you said
their heart. And they don't want those fans to take too much money if they do win. I think 20-1 would have been fair for us next year to win the comp. Considering that, the comp to me gets closer every year, even though it didn't pan out that way this year with the top 2. They were clearly the best 2 teams at the end of it. But there was periods throughout the seasons, for long periods of the season, where there was, any team could win on any week. And I just think that the Dogs, they're setting us up for an attack if something does go wrong anyway. I think, Buzz and all those fuckwits can't wait to, stick their knife into the Bulldogs after a couple of losses again. No doubt. Geography, Greg. Clubs are too trigger happy with coaches nowadays. 100% agree there, mate.
You're talking about Kerrod Walters? Like Kevin Walters?
Or I think that was a disgraceful decision.
It was the worst decision ever made. But it is the Broncos. They have a tendency to do that these days.
To go from wooden spooner, and then he got gradual improvement. Then they have a peak. You have to admit their year with injuries, the fact that 3 of their halfbacks all got injured, doesn't help. And having their best players in and out of throughout the season. And I hate the Broncos. Like, I don't feel sorry for them one bit. I feel sorry for Kevin Walters, though. And then to get finished where they finished, you know, to me, that squad, the only thing I couldn't put my finger on in regards to that team was the form of Jordan Ricky, who's been picked, I think, for the Kiwis. His form and body language all season was a shadow of what we saw last year. Last year, he was an absolute animal and a beast. And it's like, I don't know, maybe he was injured all year or something. I don't know, but he was someone I couldn't put my finger on. But the trend line of that club from where it was still up. You know, if you're the point is you can't play the rugby league and season on season. You can't look at it like where you last finished is how you're going. You've got to look at it like a stock market over 5 or 10 years and follow the trend line.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. And I just think it was disgraceful the way they do it. And now Alfie's quit as well. He's no longer going to be the extra 14th man on the field for him anymore.
That's going to hurt them probably more than Kevin Walters.
Well, he has that ability to communicate with whoever it is. He's been there with all the coaches. He's been the common denominator, mate.
Whereas,
I think, you know, Madge Maguire, I think his calling was to have teams. Like, you can't blame him for leaving New South Wales because it's getting paid part-time to do Origin. He's getting probably 3 times the money to go to the Broncos. But we'll see how good Madge is in 3 years. It's not about next year to me. It's about what the Broncos do over the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
We'll
Getting back Bulldogs, that's what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
Getting bashed by the Bulldogs.
That's what I hope. Blaze thinks the Bulldogs can improve. Good news signing. Sexton with a good preseason. Still money left in the cap. I agree, Blaze. We've still got to sign Sexy. So that's a little bit of a discussion point to keep looking at as well. Should make the top 4 and go past week 1 of the finals. Look, I just want them to play well. And sometimes if they go out there and play their best and lose, they lost. So be it. I want them to play well. I want them to learn from some of their mistakes. And we've got to see the leaders in our club have a little bit less white line fever. Understand that, you know, look, I think it's disgraceful the way that the game looked hypocritically at Reid Marnie compared to what they look at other people like. But once you've got that target on your back, you have to understand that could cost us games in the future because they've got a target on him. Everybody's agreeing with it, you know, like you just have to suck it up. And maybe I believe he can still play great rugby league without trying to defend his mates the same way he has, you know. And I think once you got a target on your back with the refs and with the commentary and with the media, you're screwed anything you do. So you have to pull out of it. If that affects his form, I don't think it will, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, he had some moments in the grand final which it was just rocks and diamonds, and I want to see that improve next year as well. I want to see those silly penalties that we gave away force us to, especially after we've been resilient for so many sets in so many games, and then to just do stupid stuff like that to defeat ourselves, essentially. We beat ourselves in quite a few of those matches, which is another thing that gives me a lot of hope, is that if we get it right, we won matches where we didn't even get close to getting it all right. And that's a good thing for us as well. And then you watch a game like the semi-final where I felt we're a 20-point better team for most of the match. To lose that match, like, there's got to be a big lesson learned out of that, and I hope there is. What's your thoughts, Mark?
No, you did on Michael. Reed tries hard. I don't want him to change at all. And he gives the team confidence and that bit of mongrel that we need. I don't want him to change. If we give away a couple of penalties, we do. It's better than dropping the ball willy-nilly, which is what we used to do. And so I don't want him to change. I want Reed to be Reed. It made him a shadow hooker at an origin level. I want him to keep what he's doing.
They talk about Harry Grant like he had the best season ever. He was a shadow to Reed Marnie for the first 18 rounds. I think him taking on the captaincy, although they were doing so well, and obviously he has a definite influence in that way. And I think Harry Grant could potentially be one of the best hookers of all time as well. I just don't. Reed Marnie was contributing to our performance at a higher level.
He was.
The amount of try assists that he got through his passing, the amount of defence, the improvement in his first contact, the extra fitness that he obviously did under that preseason to get him ready for it. He reaped the rewards through the effort that he put in, and I believe he was the best hooker in the comp for the first 18 rounds. And I'd say Reece Robson, in my opinion, Reece Robson was number one and Marnie was number two over the first 18 rounds. Harry Grant really had where it counted, Harry Grant was right up there as the best. But for the first part of the year, I felt Grant was on reputation. He had some poor missed tackles in games.
He was very quiet for the first 3 quarters of the year for sure.
Yeah. But people don't talk about that. The commentators don't mention that. He's just great all the time.
He's not.
I worry about that with our captain too. He just gets the accolades even when maybe they weren't warranted, or maybe there was like he had an injury or something and he was a bit quiet. They won't even mention it.
Yep.
Um,
That's a whole nother kettle of worms, isn't it, Michael?
It is. You got to be careful when you say stuff like that. I think that, the Roosters are going to be one. We'll see if the Roosters. That's a good call, Blaze. We'll see if the Roosters how good Robbo is this year.
Roosters are finished.
I hope they're finished.
They're finished. No Joseph Sawali. No. What's the other guy? Gerard.
No Hargraves. No Luke Keary. No Satili Tupanua.
No Tupanua and no Joseph Manu.
No Joey Manu.
How do you replace all of those? No way. Can't.
They've got to have someone coming in.
Not to that standard, you don't.
I think we make a rival around and make the Biff legal.
Yeah, I'm with you, Blaze. Sorry, Blaze.
Good on you, brother.
Could make it legal all year round.
Blaze, everyone says the Titans are the big improvers every year, but I think they will too.
Like,
I was actually.
back
What
with
about Keanu Kinney? I thought his career was ended after Kickout demolished him and the young halfback in round 3. Des gave him a week off after that game, and since he's come back, he's been their best player. So, see what happens for him next year. To be keeping someone like Brimson and the other young and Preston and Jaden Campbell out of that fullback spot, he's got to be pretty bloody good.
Well, talk about Brimson at centre. Matt Burton at Penrith.
Well, Brimson actually was going to leave and signed on the fact that he'd be staying in the spine positions, and then got injured again straight after coming back. Anyway, and obviously they got Regan Campbell-Gillard, and they've let go of Ken Palacia to help accommodate that. But I don't know how the hell they can. He's not on that much money. They got Mo Fodawaker, David Fafita, Tino Fasuma, Farmasili, and now they got Regan Campbell-Gillard. Like, come on.
That's pretty impressive forward pack, isn't it? Hey?
And then Cronulla, they let go. Finucane was only supposed to be on 300 next year anyway. They front-ended his deal, and he retired. They've lost. Royce Hunt's gone. I think he was on about 500 or 600. And that's it. And they brought in Fanua Blake. Nakora, Fanua Blake. What's the bloody fellow with the teeth? Cameron McInnes. He's on big money.
Yep.
The hook. What are they paying the hooker? $1 a week or something? Like
and Briley.
Yeah, he'd be on good money. And then you've got Oregon Kafusi, who's no slouch. He's probably on 200 or 300 and could get a lot more. He can offload. That Tom Hazelton, he's got an option for next year. I think it's a club option though. I'm sure he's probably not on much, but he'll be expecting some money. So they better do something next year, the Sharks, because I think they're going to have to lose quite a few forwards. They lost one fella to that Williams to Parramatta.
Yeah,
the edge back rower. Another good forward. They had a very good pack this year.
Yeah, they did, and they got a good pack next year. But I think their problem is in the halves.
I'll tell you what, Braden Trindle's a good player.
He is. Nico Horns is not going so well though.
Yeah, well, I think Nico just needs to not do any press, stay off camera, and just fucking play 5 put the 6 on his back. I think he could be a really good number 6. And just watch what Matt Burton did this year and touch the ball less and do more with it.
Exactly. And that was a big thing, wasn't it?
Well, it was, because he didn't have that pressure of trying to do everything himself.
Exactly.
And I look at a team like the Dragons. You know what? Their biggest asset is their biggest Achilles heel. It's called Ben Hunt.
Yes.
He does everything. Top the try assist by a mile, but Flanagan got 1 or 2 for the whole season. Not that he's big on that anyway, but it's just too easily picked off by the opposition that has a good defensive system. So unless the Dragons could win with heaps of momentum, hold the ball, get some tries from kicks, obviously had some talent out the back. But what I'm saying is that
you're going to miss Zach Lomax.
They're going to miss him, yeah, for sure. Teams need to be more balanced. If they've got all their eggs in one basket, and that's why Canterbury aren't going out there and spending millions on a Adam Fanua Blake or a Mitchell Moses. Happy to talk to these players and see if they want to come and fit into our cap, but not going to get into a bidding war.
No,
for these $1 million players. You know, it's just
probably
not
through.
Huh?
You big boys coming through the system. Jack Underhill, obviously the standout. I don't know.
Yeah.
After that, there's plenty coming
Todd.
through. Jack Todd. Sam Hughes has got another season under his belt. Harry Hayes. Love Harry Hayes. I think his transition to the forwards is going to be a very good thing for the Bulldogs.
Saluka Fafita.
Luca Fafita, another one.
Yeah, I've just got a good feeling about him, and I hope I'm right. I don't think we'll see it at the start, but he's the enforcer we need, and not get that. Look, if that injury that happened to him at South, if that doesn't happen, he's still with the Bunnies, and he's probably been upgraded on a much bigger deal. And they fought hard to get him from the Roosters, and the Roosters didn't really want to let him go. So he is one of these players we've picked up that could be an absolute gold mine for us. And when you look at all those sort of players that we've picked up, Max King just had constant knee injuries his whole career. He's played 3 seasons in a row now, and I think he played 39 games in a row before that injury. He's carried injuries the whole time, which shows how tough he is. And he had a wonderful season this year. Absolute wonderful season.
He is.
So people are diminishing it. Like there's a bloke out there. There's a few people who think that you've just got to run and bend the line and you've got to be big, and that's how the game's played. And it's not like that anymore. Josh Curran, he's a smart footballer. He's not going to run full pelt at the line, and just get smashed. He's going to put on some footwork, run at an angle, utilise his skill and hit the line, and then
get the quick play ball.
And look around, he keeps his eyes on what's happening. He makes the opposition think, oh, do I have to come in and add an extra tackle to get this guy down? He holds up the defence, and puts us into the positions in the field that we want to go. Steve Price was very similar to that. He didn't run off the back fence all the time.
Absolutely not.
He ran hard.
Price never run off the back.
No. Corey Parker was another one. These are representative players. But there's so many people who think that you've got to just be a barge and charger, and they get excited by that.
Yeah.
And that's great. But do those players then get back into the defensive line and keep making the tackles? There's only a few of those props who can do it. Their names are Moses Leota, James Fisher-Harris, and a couple of others. Hey?
Marco Mealy is a perfect example.
Yeah.
He was the barge off the back fence guy, but then you had Steve Price who would back him up and just wiggle through the line, get quickly play the balls, and Sherwin and play off the back of that.
Yeah. Post contact. There's so many different variations in what you need. And I think Max King can, if he has to be the first hit up guy, he will do it, and he can do it now. And we made the 8. And you know what? If we wanted to put all our eggs in the one basket to make the top 4 or make 5th or whatever, we could have played some injured guys. We could have done some stuff. They reset to try and get into the finals and then have a real good push. Fell short of the first hurdle, but they gave it a big crack. Look, I think we made the finals and looked like a top 5 team for 25 rounds with Max King, with Josh Curran, with Sam Hughes.
Nothing wrong with those 3.
So people who want to sit there and say they're not top 8 forwards, well, they are. They just proved it. Still, Sam Hughes needs another couple of seasons, and then you'll see how great Sam Hughes is going to be,
Right.
barring injury.
Harry
Daniel
Hayes.
Salute. Look, I think Harry. I can't find a spot for Harry to start the season, but that's not to say he's not going to have a great preseason and say sorry, you're picking me. You know.
That's. I think Jamin Salmon's in the same category, buddy.
I think he's definitely he's fighting for one spot in the 17 for sure. Because I'll name 16 players, but I think Satelli's in the 17, obviously, and you got I think Amone's in the 17.
Maybe.
I think Kurt Mann's in the 17.
Definitely.
I think Curran's in the 17.
Definitely.
And then, the other forwards. So
Yes.
So for me, your Bailey Haywoods, your Harry Hayeses, your Jamin Salmons, maybe Tom Amone to start. They're all fighting for that spot. And then you got the other youngsters, Lipboy, Hopboy, and you'll have all these other kids coming from the train. So I think Jack Underhill's on train and trial next year, and then he goes to development the year later. And then the final year he's on the top 30.
He'll play NRL next year, for sure.
Yeah, he'll come in after 10 rounds, I reckon, especially if there's an injury.
Hello, Apu. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yep. Apu.
You got Kurt Mann in that jersey as well. And we missed him for the last 3 games, obviously.
Yep.
So there's that's going to be a real interesting February next year, Michael.
It is. Thanks for all the contributions. You're doing a good job there. Geography Greg says, do you think that Daniel Atkinson from Cronulla can be a legit starter for a team at 5'8"? 100% he can, but I think he's in their top 3 halves at the Sharks for next year. So I think he'll be there for a while. I don't think he'll be going anywhere. And I think he came from the Storm initially. Blaze thinks Gus can do what he did at Penrith. Good juniors come through. Our pathways are good right now. Good things to come for the Bulldogs in the future. Yeah, 100%, mate.
I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it? By the junior rep results, Jersey Flegg Grand Final winners. SG Bull was up there. New South Wales Cup was in the mix. And don't worry about the pathways. I think they're well and truly taken care of by Gus. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of dominance as the Panthers have shown with Gus's pathways there.
Yeah, well, look, we don't have the numbers that they've got, and we always punch above our weight, even when things are a bit dire with funding or whatever it is. There's always been Dogs players in those juniors who have stuck it to their more fancied rivals. But right now, they've got an abundance of talent from all over the land, which has joined them. Just put a rocket up those local kids' asses. And the main thing that Gus installs, though, is the community perspective. And I've said this numerous times, and I listened to him intently around Penrith. When he first went to Penrith and he asked the kids who their heroes were, they said it was Benji Marshall, right? Benji Marshall was their hero. He's not from Penrith. Who in the Penrith teams your hero? I don't know. Craig Gower, maybe. They had no one that they could aspire to be. Now they've got a whole team. Look, we've literally got Bulldogs fans now because they go for Critter. You know what I mean? They were able to capture the heart and minds of the kids in the communities to build and essentially indoctrinate them into wanting to only be Panthers and nothing else. And that's how they're able to stay close to under the salary cap. For Canterbury, we're getting there. the Canterbury kids are always been well cultured regardless. You know, I know growing up, speaking to other Canterbury fans, they knew as much as I did about the team and everything like that. Like, but the hero thing, it's really grown amongst the team and the club. And even when we were losing last year, the kids were still love it coming out and seeing the Fox and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like they still had their heroes. And I think the club's done well to do that. There's been a lot of community engagement, a lot of work they did when the whole area was on its knees during COVID to support businesses and all that sort of stuff. And now they're getting that back. The club's done a great job since Gus has been there, and the board are a very smart bunch and also contributing very, very well. But not just that, all the staff. And look, I know I'm waffling on, but we need to stay. The reason Penrith are so good is because they've got so much stability in the people that work in the organisation, and the people who move out of the place have people to replace them. And the roles stay the same, whether it's on the field or off the field. And the people who come in and do a better job most of the time to keep the place rolling. And when you got stability, everyone, you know, when a person leaves the job, they're not getting sacked. They're actually moving on to greener pastures, whether they're doing recruitment or whether they're an assistant coach or whether they're the canteen lady or whatever it bloody is. It's just a place which is just churning through such positive outcomes for the majority of people that work there. And that's what Canterbury's got to become. And when you have instability at a club, it's not just the coach that's feeling it. It's not just the players. It's all the staff that work there, like the administrators and the secretaries and everybody, the people working in the team store. Everyone's under the pump when you've got instability. So we need that now. And I think we're going to have that with our team for next year. There won't be too many changes. There won't be changes to the coaching staff, I don't think. We'll have the Wynnums NRL team coming in. There'll be lots of momentum with that. You know, I think we're set up for a good year next year across the club yet again, and it's going to really set us up for the future. I think next year is important, but I'm really positive about what we're going to see from our club. And to answer your question, yeah, I do think we will be like Penrith in that we can get some stability amongst everything in our club and not have this constant fear that there's going to be a new board and that everyone's going to then lose their job and the coaches, everyone's under pressure. Of course, everyone's under pressure. That's part of the deal, right? But yeah, I just think we need to have some stability. We needed this year to get that. And I think there's some good people at our club who are going to stay there and do a good job.
Are you okay, Mike?
I've got to take a breath.
Well, can I just add to that just a little bit and name a few people that you've glossed over there, and that would be, I hope I say his name right, Adam Struis, Aaron Warburton.
Yep.
John Curry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about Gus Gould. Gus Gould reports to these three gentlemen. And the other board members, Guide and Rubber Stamp, many things.
Joe Thomas, Peter Mortimer.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. These are the men that need a pat on the back, and I think we should acknowledge their incredible efforts to put club first, team second, individual third.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right, buddy. And as I said, it's not just the board and everything. There's hundreds of workers for the organisation that benefit from having a stable workplace. And I think you just got to look at Penrith. And as I said, if you have people in your organisation, no matter what it is, when they walk out of their place, they're walking out with a promotion because they've been headhunted for somewhere else, and that's whether they're the doctor that works there or one of the ball boys or the trainers or whatever it is. That's a good scenario rather than having a situation where everyone's being fired and replaced with new people all the time, where all the wisdom just gets thrown out of the place because, they've just got to start again. And we've had that now. We don't want to see it happen again. The people who are there, we want them to be there for a long, long time. All right. Corey Knockout. Blaze says Ben Barber, if he played in today's game, he would still dominate. The speed of the game right now is so much quicker than when he was playing. Would he still dominate? I think he'd still be I think he could come in now and play in any starting 17 in the comp. He is that talented, man. Did anyone watch him on the weekend?
Well, he was man of the tournament in the Curry knockout, was he not?
He was, and he played brilliant there the last 3 or 4 years. So, look, he got banned from rugby league, went and played AFL, and kicked 9 goals in his first game. He's just I'll tell you what was good. Sorry, mate.
He's got to keep his hands to himself, mate.
Yeah, well, there's other things which, he probably should be in jail. Who fucking knows? But I love watching him as a player.
Right.
In regards to, no disrespect to anything that's happened with him and whatever else, but it was good watching the first round, Morgan versus, I forget the other team name, but they're full of McGrady brothers in it. God, they were entertaining. They kept knocking the ball on, but they just, first tackle, just chip over the top, throwing just unbelievable balls. It was just, I just love it every year. Blake Taft was playing there. That Brian Kelly's there every year. Hey?
He went well, Blake Taft.
He always goes well, He played there last year as well, but his team lost the first round. And the fullback from Cronulla, he plays there every year as well. He was in Benny Barber's team that won. What's his name again? Bloody hell, man. The Cronulla Sharks fullback.
Not Sullivan. Is it Sullivan?
Someone tell me.
One of these boys up here will tell you.
Kennedy.
Oh, Kennedy. Righto.
Cronulla Sharks. William Kennedy. There he is. There you go. Let's look at some of the chats. I think Brookie would be up there, geography group. Anyway, I think competition for spots will make us even stronger, especially in our forward pack. I think you're right, Lucas. What do they say? Iron sharpens iron. It's a comment we like to say. Be very interesting to see who our starting side is in round 1, especially in our forward pack. Well, I will be running after we play our leading up to our first trial. I will run a comp again to see who will be the starting 17 and see who can get the closest to that. And I've got merch still from last year, which I haven't given away, which I'm happy to give away. And if you want your own All Things Bulldogs shirt with my face on it, definitely that'll be to the person who gets the worst result. I think I've put on weight since then too, mate. That's a really nice photo of me.
Looking skinny on this T-shirt, brother.
Do you think that Terry Lamb should be an immortal? In my opinion, he should have definitely been inducted.
Can of worms.
100%.
This is a can of worms.
Big can of worms, but he's an immortal every day of the week. I think Steve Folk should be in the Hall of Fame as well and be an immortal. Greatest club man ever.
What do you think about Joey Johns getting all offended about not being consulted about an immortal induction?
Oh, I think Joey probably got asked about it and probably just answered honestly, and then they posted as an article. I don't think he went. I don't think he contacted Chamis and an old mate and said,
He
blah, blah, blah. What?
He was on the couch and said, I'm disappointed. Mal's disappointed. Wally's
That's
disappointed.
right. He was actually on TV saying it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that now. So he's on his 6 tackles with Freddie or whatever. Whatever they like, the immortal behaviour or something.
Whatever it was. Freddie in the 9th or fucking whatever you call themselves.
Oh, mate, they're fucking funny. I'll tell you what's funny. Mal Meninga, the way he handled Kalen Ponga. Like, I'll tell you something about Mal Meninga, right? He protects all the players. He would not have been upset in the slightest that Kalen Ponga said that he didn't want to play for Australia. He would have known that Kalen wouldn't have understood the whole things behind it. He just picks up the player and says, Kalen, tell him you're available. I won't pick you. It's all good.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to pick you, I'll pick you. But if not, I'll be able to talk to it and tell you what the go is. No problem. Like, I listen to Mal Meninga when he goes on the Jimmy Smith show all the time, and he just defends every player in the comp. Everyone. Mm-hmm. Whenever they try and put heat on someone, he'll make shit up too. He'll make it up. He will create stats and just put them in their place just to shut them up. And guess what? No one ever questions Mal Meninga. No one has the balls to question Mal Meninga, nor should they. And I certainly wouldn't. I saw him stayed at the same the Novotel in Haymarket, and he was staying there as well, which is interesting. But anyway, by himself. Let's move on. Cogra is a great place to watch rugby league. You love the old the hill up there, mate, do you?
Everywhere is a good place to watch rugby league, Lucas.
Well, I'm good. I love it when people are having a good little chat on the side as well. It makes me happy. People connecting and getting to know each other, sharing rugby league stories. Greg and I went to the Bulldogs versus St George finals game back in '98. It was very electric, one of the best atmospheres I've seen and been involved in. It was great. Doggies versus St George in 1998. Or was that 95? Because in 95, we beat them 12-8 in a game which Tallis believes that Dragons were ripped off. And he's hated the Dogs ever since.
Didn't we smash St George in 98? One of our best games ever. Early 2000s. Can't remember now.
Yeah, I can't remember now. In 98, though, I know we beat Parramatta, we beat Newcastle. Coming from behind. Who else did we beat? Maybe we did smash the Dragons. We should have won the comp in 99, in my opinion.
Yeah.
On the train from Wagga to Campbelltown. Listen to it on the radio, coming in and out. Anyway. How do you get a shirt? Blaze wants a shirt. Well, tell him how you did it, Mark.
Well, I enlisted the services of my daughter, and she made it for me.
Oh, is she a printer?
Yeah, she does this stuff for me. And this is my most prized place. All Things Bulldogs, emblem, and Monsieur Michael on the, if I can get this right, there he is. There he is.
You can't match with the camera, it's in reverse, mate.
The man, the myth, the legend. There he is. Look at that. Look at that, Bulldogs fans.
Take a screenshot. Look, I'm making a few shirts. I made myself a Villiamy kick-out one. I've made some stuff, but did your daughter do that as a business?
Nah, she does it for fun.
Has she got her own screen printer?
Yeah. Did I show you the back, Michael?
Yeah, show me the back. Bend down. No, can't see it. You got to bend down.
Fuck. Can you see now?
Nah, you actually have to get down on your knees, mate, or turn your phone up.
Oh, no, don't get down on my knees. That'd be nothing unusual.
Now it's too high. Nah, can't see it.
Come on.
I'm sorry, we can't.
Come on.
Nah, you're going to have to get someone to help you to do it.
You guys suck.
All I can see is the beautiful. Nah, it's all crinkled up. Can't see it. But there is a message on the back, everyone, for all you Spotify listeners.
Wow. Talk about making things hard, Michael. Says, I hate O'Connell.
He says, I hate Mark O'Connell.
Yeah.
Only sometimes, mate. You're like a wife to me.
Never a true word spoken, Michael.
Blaze asked another good question. Do you think Burton or Tom Dearden will start for 6? I think Tom Dearden will start at 6 and Burton will be 18th man. That's how I think it'll line up.
Yeah, that's right.
G'day, Scotty Wood. I used to love a little Scotty Wood who used to ride dirt bikes back in the day.
Love a bit of Scotty Wood, do you, mate?
I'm so proud of our guys too, mate. Thanks for joining, brother. Scott Wood, welcome to the family. I think they'll use Burton as a utility, or an 18th. Scotty thinks Birdo off the bench. Lucas says he might have the year wrong. I don't know if you do it. I'll have to go and check it out, mate. My brain, there's things that I thought happened that didn't happen and vice versa. As I get older, your brain changes things. It actually does. Bulldogs beat Dragons at Conger in the first round of finals in 1998, 14-10. Elegant Rods. There you go. Thank you, Geography Greg.
Where's more cool? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, but there's a few people who are stepping up for Michael, giving us some good info. So Blaze says, do you think Teddy has been hard done by not making the Australian squad? Nah, I don't.
Dylan Edwards has been the benchmark for 3 years now. I think Teddy did well to hold on as long as he did.
I think Dylan's a better team player, just my opinion. Just think he's a better, more just doing what the team needs. So that I found Teddy's tried to take on the all or nothing a lot in games as well.
Teddy's great.
This is all on me sort of stuff. And it's won us games. It's won games for Australia, for New South Wales, but it's also done the opposite.
Been surpassed, Michael.
That's it. Martini scored the match winner. That's another one. Shane Martini, one of the unsung heroes of the 90s.
Definitely.
Him and fuck that! I love that year. Gavin Lester, Shane Martini, Willie Talau, Robert Ralph, Mitch Newton was still around. I think. I think we got Troy Stone from the Dragons. Yeah, I think Isaiah is the right guy to captain Australia. He's captained the Penrith Panthers for 3 or 4 years. I think he's definitely the right guy. Yeah, Lucas, you're right. I just forgotten about that game, eh? I've just forgotten about it. 14-10, we beat the Dragons. Yeah, Lucas, Corey Hughes, another one. We still had Corey. It's funny, he was going to be the next big halfback for us. Ended up being a great utility.
Ended up being a great hooker.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Him and Adam Perry had it going on.
Yeah.
Do you think Mitch Woods is the next big thing for the Dogs? He might be.
Undoubtedly.
Look, I think Mitch has got a lot of work to do, and that's an understatement. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him as well, and that's what I think Gus knows what he's doing, though. When he sits there and makes a comparison with a kid to Steve Mortimer, it's not done lightly. But I'd also say that Steve Mortimer wouldn't be suited as a halfback in today's game. I think he'd play fullback in today's game with the 10 metres. And, and as a cover defender, we just don't see halves cover anymore the same way. So Steve Mortimer in the line, I don't know about that. So hard to compare errors. But I think he'd be one of the best fullbacks in the game. Whereas Mitch Woods, I look at him and I go, people are saying halfback. He played 5'8" for Australian schoolboys. He's definitely a runner of the football. And in the Halves Academy, they're going to work on his game. The big things that he's got is his kicking game. He got a really confident short kicking game and a long kicking game that'll get longer as he gets stronger. And he tries hard too, and that can be one of his Achilles heels at the moment as well, as it is with any young guy. But there's a lot of pressure there's some good players, man, around him. So he's going to have to knock a few people out of the way to get there. And that's exactly what we want for him. Put it this way, he's not going to be handed the jersey just so we can keep him. He'll have to earn it. And I think that's exactly the type of I think that's exactly what he expects and what he wants as well. So from what I've heard, he's under no illusions. And neither are the Bulldogs. And I'm pretty sure they're telling every other player, every young half they've signed to this academy, that it's up to them whether it's up to them to force the Bulldogs to pick them, not the other way around. With the way they play. So reputations, Mitch Woods has definitely got the big reputation. And I think that's going to add pressure that he has to live up to. And if he can do it, maybe he will be one of the biggest things to come out of Canterbury since Steve Mortimer. And I hope that's the case. But, I'm not going to put that pressure on him. I hope that's the case, but I wouldn't be banking on it. I think Mark's got a little bit more confidence than me, but I'm still rather confident, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
good question.
Toby Sexton is in the box seat. Then you got Cassius P coming through, and Joey O'Neill and a few others. Mitch Woods has got to get through a few hoops yet, but he's got the talent. He's just got to have the drive and the want, and he'll be a success, I think, if he can do those things.
Alex Conti, another name. He's the other one. And I'm telling you, if you got, that could be Lil Wine Cleary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the difference is Lil Wine Cleary were playing together. They started playing together at 14 years old, 13 or 14. All right. They had a few more years on these guys. They brought these guys together at 16 and 17. So that's what we're going to see from our Bulldogs in the future, though. The 14-year-olds come. You look at that grand final team. How many were from St. Mary's, from the same team? That's just unheard of in today's game. When they read out all their junior clubs, all come from the same junior club. Penrith's got heaps of junior clubs in that place. So for most of them to come from the one club is phenomenal as well. I don't know, mate. What do you think about the Pacific teams, Mark?
Samoa is going to be very good, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how many actually turn up. There's plenty of people ruling themselves out already, so we're not sure what the teams are actually going to be. But certainly Samoa, Tonga.
Samoa, I think Samoa and Tonga swap every year. I think Samoa's playing England and Tonga's playing Australia and New Zealand and Papua New Guinea, maybe.
I'll be right, buddy. I can't keep up with that stuff. But
Yeah.
I think New Zealand's going to be a very good side this year.
They got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, but they haven't had that many pull out.
They've got a lot coming out.
Jerome Hughes, I think, is still there.
He was injured on the grand final.
Yeah, he is carrying an injury, that's true.
James Fisher-Harris is the captain.
Yes, he is.
So this is how it goes. Yeah, so it's Fiji, Cook Islands, PNG. They play each other.
All
and then
right.
it's Australia, Kiwis, and Tonga. So next year it'll be Australia, Kiwis, and Samoa. And Tonga will go play England.
Yeah.
This year Samoa's playing England. I think Samoa are going to be fucking tough to beat. But that Critter's not playing. He's getting married.
Yes. Silly boy.
I'm just trying to get the bloody teams, though. There's no Jeremy Marshall-King. There's heaps missing from the Kiwis.
Yeah.
Got all the youngsters playing.
But I still think they're a strong side.
Oh, bloody oath they are. Just trying to look at it. So they got Aaron Clark, Phoenix Crossland, James Fisher-Harris, Peter Hicko, Jerome Hughes, Asako, Keanu Kinney. They got Casey McLean from the Panthers, Griffin Neem, Charles Nickel-Clodstadt, Cody Nikarima, Murata Nakore, Isaiah Papali'i, Jordan Ricky, Scott Sorensen, Joseph Tarpanay, Leo Thompson, Matthew Tomoko, Trent Tolau, who's from the Panthers, one of their juniors, Will Warbrick, and Nafahu White. So still a good team.
Oh, there's a few grand finalists in there, isn't there, Michael? Scott Sorensen. There's a couple of others you read there. You got Joseph Tapine, who's Dalian Prop of the Year. So they're going to be a good side, New Zealand. So good luck to everyone else.
Tell you what, the Tongans have got a much better balanced squad this year. They got Sia Wong, Satili Tupanua, Daniel Tupu, Jason Taumalolo, Moses Suli, Daniela Pasika, Hamali Olakawatu, Sonny Luke. Sonny Luke, the best player in the 2015 Panthers side at the time that had all those players in it.
Got a big future, that kid.
Lola Hia's coming from Huddersfield. Tolotu Kolo, who broke our hearts in the semi. Kalol Matangi, Felice Kafusi, Elise Katoa, Sione Katoa. So Ellie Katoa's playing, and Sione from the Sharks.
Yep.
Isaiah Iongi, who who will probably start at fullback for the Eels next year because he's that good. Lehi Hopewadi, who's had a sensational entrance into the NRL. Sevilla Havili is a good player. And Fanua Blake. Fanua Fawaki, who's gone from the Cowboys to the Dolphins. And Paul Alamotti.
Good side, isn't it, Michael?
It's, yeah. And look, part of me, I don't know if I'm an Australian, but, you know, I always want the lower nations to do well.
Yeah, we all do. That's great.
But when it gets down to that last few minutes, if it's a close game, I want Australia still to hold on and win.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All these kids should have to earn their spots and not be rushed in. Yeah, and I think that's what happens, mate. And look, when they had, you had Bailey Hayward and Harry Hayes and all that come in, I was like, oh, is this too soon? Well, they proved their worth, and once they got there, they didn't lose their spot. Yeah, Scotty Serrato did coach those guys as young fellas. He certainly did. Do you think the Dogs should go after Leo Thompson in 2026? I don't think we're any chance of getting Leo Thompson.
No.
Daniel Seifert just left the Knights to go to the Dolphins. I'd assume Leo will be getting some of that money. I'd go after him, but
no,
I don't think he wants to leave. He's definitely one of the up and coming props of the competition.
Too many cooks spoil the broth, Michael.
Yes. Well, as long as it's a good feed, though. If it's got to be a good feed. If it's not worth eating, we'll need to get rid of some of the cooks and get some better ones in. Good question, though, Blaze. I think New Zealand will be strong. Pete, mate, I'll be getting me Pete Webber shirt soon. Welcome, Petey. There you go, mate.
Pete, just give me your address, brother, and I'll send it to you. No dramas. Michael emblazoned on the front, all smiles like he is, and I want you to wear it all the time.
Mate, you need to write us a song for all things Bulldogs.
No, not me. You've got the talent, Michael.
I got the talent. I can write a song in 2 minutes about the Bulldogs.
See, there you go. I rest my case. It'll take me like 3 years.
I wrote one about Serrato the other day.
Really?
Yeah. What is it? Right, one about Critter. You hear that?
Not really. Turn it off.
Bloody AI, eh?
Bloody AI.
Welcome, Peter. How you going, Peter Bulldogs? You been on the Instagram, bro? He gets all the good photos with the players, does all the good posts. He loves the wiggles. So welcome. Come and saying hello, buddy. I don't think we need Leo. Scotty agrees with the big man. Amoni and Statistical should add another dynamic. They do.
Tilly will. I'm not sure about Tommy Yamone. The jury's a bit out on him, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe he's good, but maybe he's not.
Oh, let's play some. He was at Souths in 2019.
Yes.
Let's have a look at it. Let's show a bit of this, eh? We've got time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Let's watch some Tom Amone. highlights.
Been one of the standout prop forwards in the competition.
Look at him, he looks
He
intense.
will get the ball away. Amon will run it. Gap opens up for Tom Amon. He's going for the line. And
Got
Tom
footwork.
Amon has just bulldozed his way through. Your pass, they're too strong. They're over. Simple but effective. And the Leopards are over.
Held up. Oh, he butchered one there. They shouldn't have had that on. He butchered a try.
Scrabble, keeping going, looking for a gap.
I like that. Head down. To me, highlights are more than try scoring. This is the shit I want to see. Second man in.
Amon short
Oh.
pass and now they're in.
Bit of
Now they're
James
in.
Graham
It's
there.
too easy. Rob Mulhern crashes over.
People,
Now Amon short pass. Mulhern will score.
Horrible
Well,
defence, but
Amon
you can
scored
only
one
play what's
first
in
half,
front
and
of you.
now he's set one up for his front row teammate.
Oh! Oh, that's good. I like that.
forward.
With Lamb. Asiata through to Tom Amon. Amon has found a little bit of space.
Asiata, Lachlan Lamb on the top of the own.
Scoring for the Challenge Cup champions.
There we go.
Yeah, boys, me, an NRL player.
So what did you think about them highlights?
I thought they were pretty soft, actually. there was not a lot of digging into the line or crunching tackles or making post-contact meters. It was just, let's run through this gap and see you later. And thank you.
He scored quite a few tries for a season though, which is, and I think he got 7 or 8 this year.
Got 7.
Quite a few for a front rower in any comp.
Well, not for a Super League comp though.
Yeah, it's not the same level, but it's definitely getting closer. I've been watching it. He's not the best prop in the game over there, by no means. But I think what they're looking for is the aerobic ability of a player as much as anything else. I think he can play long minutes. I think he'll be able to plug up the hole, and if he makes his tackles, he's quite intelligent with his. He's quite skillful, and that's what I think is a common denominator in Bulldogs players for 2024 was the skill.
But we have plenty of skill in our front rowers and second rowers in 2024 and looking forward to 2025. Viliama Kikau, Josh Curran, Max King, Sam Hughes, Red Money, Kurt Mann. I'm sure I'm missing someone there as well.
Bailey Haywood, Harry Hayes.
Harry Hayes.
I still can't get over Harry Hayes captaining the flag side from centre last year to playing in the middle a year later.
How well did he go? He was outstanding.
It is outstanding, and that's the only word for it. Thanks for joining, Blaze. We will be going soon too, good mate. But thanks for joining. Great to hear from you, mate. Come join the Facebook group, All Things Bulldogs, if you haven't. Go the doggies. When will Reed and Kicks re-sign with us? Well, they're signed until 2026, mate. So we'll worry about them next year. So we'll worry about them November.
They won't be going.
So they're not off contract for 20. I think Reed's signed from 23 to. Oh, let me get the top 30 up.
Yeah,
Good question, Pete. It's time to talk about the top 30.
I think they're both contracted for 2025. Renewal up in 2026. They won't be going anywhere. It's just fully. They won't earn the money anywhere else other than the Bulldogs, and I don't think they desire to go anywhere else other than the Bulldogs.
Oh, come on. Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Current squad. So November 24.
Yes,
We can
that's
talk about 26, can't we?
no. 25. You can talk about 26. Oh,
Yeah, no. November 24. You can sign players for 2026.
Yeah. And I don't think either of those qualify.
Oh no. No, for 20. So for the end November 25, they're off contract for 27.
Yes.
So you've got Kick-Owls there, 26, Marnie.
Tupanua.
Well, so 2027, we've got Preston, Carraz, King, Crichton, and Burton, and maybe now Tupanua. We've got Tupanua until 2028, and he's on $650,000 a year, which is, I think, big money for him. But Cherry's got to extend, which I'm hearing he will be. Maybe I need to share this screen, hey?
I think what Serralda and Gould want to do is get a group of players, 17 players, to play for extended seasons together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we've got a nice core for 2026, and I'll read who they are. That's Mitch Woods, Satili Tupanua, Connor Tracy, Jacob Preston, Carla Lawapu, Reed Marnie, Jacob Kiraz, Max King, Filiami Kikau, Samuel Hughes. We're thinking Lipai Hopoi joins in 26.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say Jack Underhill will be joining 27, but he may get upgraded earlier.
Definitely.
Bailey Haywood, he's got next year to prove for an extension.
I'll extend him for sure.
Josh Curran's there, Stephen Crichton, Matt Burton, and Tom Amone. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14, but there's probably actually about 16 or 17, realistically, when you add a couple of young fellas that are already there for 26. The end of this year is going to be another big turnover point, potentially, depending on the season. So you'd expect that the likes of Drew Hutchison, not sure what will happen with Katoni Katonga, Kurt Mann, not sure what will happen with Moran, with Salmon, Samrani, Toby, and then you've got Blake Taff as well, Blake Wilson and Jake Turpin. So I'd say at least half of those players won't be at the club after next year. Saluka Fafita signed until the end of 25 as well. So he will be we're expecting a big year for him. They reckon Ryan Sutton's on 600K. He's another one. So
I'd love to see him have a breakout season next year. How good would that be?
Ryan Sutton.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah, he's very underrated, mate. Very underrated.
Great player. Gives us one good year. That'll do me. That's top 4 for sure.
So where is Satilli going to play? I put post up for comments, gents. Hard to pick up at this stage. Yeah, you asked that last week, Peter, as well. And we sort of, it's hard to know, mate. It's really bloody hard to know. Where do you think he's going to play, Mark?
He'll play right edge rower, mate, with Jacob Preston, I believe. That's how I would do it. But what do I know?
Well, they're not going to. They don't need to give Preston a break, though.
Well, but Preston needs a break, mate. He plays great for 80 minutes, but you need a point of difference, right? You can't just keep doing the same thing for 80. You got to have a point of difference. So I think those two guys on the right edge is going to be a big problem for oppositions, and with Mr. Crichton and Carraz outside them, it could gain us a lot of points in a game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about it. I'm not sure how they're going to use him. I think Preston starts. I don't think what I saw from Jacob Preston in that semi-final gave me so much hope for the future. And look, there's been plenty of games where he's been that good. But he was just the best player on the field for us that day. And everything he did was just quality. It was just and the aggression that came out of him as well. Enthusiasm, aggression. He wasn't.
He's always been that way.
I felt more of it. I felt more. He's just harder and tougher. Since he got his jaw smashed, I think he's grit the teeth even more so. And he's just like, you know what? I'm not just a nice guy who tries hard. I'm a fucking animal.
I'd love to see Tupanua and Jacob Preston on that edge, changing places, and that edge will be relentless.
You know, it's what's best for the team and what they're doing with it. I'm just not sure. I just don't know if that's how they want to run it. Because I think Preston could play lock too. Probably. I think he's more suited to the middle than Tupanua, to be honest.
Well, it's not where he's been playing for the last X amount of years, Michael. Maybe you put Tupanua to lock, but where do you do with Kurt Man, Carl Aluapu? You can't play them all in the lock.
No, you can't. It's going to come down to, are they going to carry, the biggest forward pack they can, and then have, a small 14 and, well, not a small 14, but a skillful little nuggety fella that can throw the ball and got good leg speed through the middle, who has skills on both sides of the ruck. They have that player at 14 and then have one big bopper and then a couple of basically, a hybrid player like Tupanua can come in and play in the centres, or he can play back row, or he'll run up the middle. If Harry Hayes can play in the middle, well, Satilli Tupanua can. And that goes for Jacob Preston as well. Harry Hayes never played in middle at any point coming through. He's never in the middle.
You can't play them all.
But he played left. He played left centre. He played left edge. He played right edge. Right. He played it.
But he can't play Michael.
But he had to play middle for us.
But we can't play them all in the middle either. There's too many options now. I don't know what Savarolo's going to do.
So when we lose, we're just going to say he did the wrong thing. He picked the wrong guy.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's how it works. It won't be me, though. That'll be you.
That's me. That's my job, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, it's all good. But
And no doubt shoot me down in comments, and we'll all be fun and games, won't it?
oh, it's all passion, it's all love. At the end of the day, whether I think you're wrong or not, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
It's just an opinion.
Correct. Yes.
But Pete, it is the question. I think Satili Tupanua will be an outstanding player that'll start some game. I'll almost say like Curran last year. He will start some games. He'll play on an edge because Preston and Kikau are going to – Preston can play both sides of the ruck. He doesn't care. Kikau stays on the left because that's what he's done and what he's best at. But Satili's played mainly on the right. But I think he could play left if at a push. And he's on enough money to warrant that. And I think we'll see, like with Josh Curran, we'll see Satili fill in wherever the need is. And they'll just put the best 17 players that they can pick into that team and fit them wherever they've got to fit them. That's what I think will happen with the Bulldogs next year. Whoever the best 17 players that deserve the jersey from the way they train, through the way they communicate, for everything they do, they will get the job. And that's why I think Harry Hayes got the job this year, because he deserved it.
It'll happen in February, Michael, when Serraldo has put him through their paces, and he'll make a decision from there. But I think Tupanua will start. I think Kurt Mann should start. Curran on the bench. King and Hughes up front. Reed Marnie. Kikau on the left side. And that's Sexton, Burton, Crichton, Cherry, Wilson.
I was going to say it.
Wilson, best winger in the club.
Carraz.
And Carraz. And, of course, Connor Tracy will up again for next year.
Good depth in the club. And that's what I think. That's what's going to happen. And Pete Bulldogs just mentioned Jonathan Sewer was great this season. He did a great job. He's another one who's made. And this watched in this for the Fijian side, if he gets a go, young Renakama. Played now Harold Matts last year with Mitch Woods on the wing. Team that won the comp. Played in the Jersey Flag final this year that won the comp. Played in the SG ball team that got runner-up. He is an absolute gun on the wing as well. Another one coming through. But yeah, as I said, I think that the bench will look something. I think Tupanua may start from the bench. Preston will start. I just think it works. I just think he's a great player, and I think they'll play it by ear from there. But be rest assured, I think Serraldo will know before the first trial who is playing where, and only injury or an anomaly in the trial will maybe decide one, maximum two positions. But he'll know 15 or 16 players that are starting round one before a trial is played. That's my hot tip.
I would like to comment on Peter Bulldog 01, Jonathan Sewer. Next man up, I believe. I think that's why we were happy to let Skelton go. And I think he will be a fucking star on the wing for the Bulldogs. If not next year, certainly the year after.
He's got the height, he's got the speed, he's going to get bigger, and he's got it all. He's got good hands.
Yes.
And I think he's quite skillful. I think he can kick goals as well, Jonathan Sewer. Eli Clark's another one who can kick goals and is a very good defensive player. Eli Clark reminds me a lot of Ben Harris.
No, good old Ben.
So there you go. Just an unassuming, tries his best, but impresses me every time I watch him play.
And a little fella too.
He's not big.
No.
He tackles with the shoulder and he hits hard. That's all you can ask for. Lucas says we're building great depth and fitness in the club.
Yes, obvious.
So, guys, in the background, you've been seeing the background flickering from a few players. So, our All Things Bulldogs top 17, we've got 12 of the top 13 already named. So, you've got Luke Patton at fullback. Check it out on the Facebook page. El Masri in Utah on the wing. And you've got Stephen Crichton made the team. Some people didn't think that was right, but I did it until 2024. Recency bias applied. Josh Morris was the left centre in that team. Terry Lamb and Steve Mortimer in the halves. And our props are Peter Tunks and Mark O'Mealy. Our second rows have just been named. Stephen Folkes and David Gillespie. So we've got to name our hooker yet. We've got to name our lock, and then we'll be naming our bench players.
It's a pretty good team.
Scotty Wood. My cousin married Ben Harris's sister. Whoop.
What does that do? Hey, what have you got to say about it?
Were you happy about that? Scotty? You'll have to get on and talk about it, mate.
Well, maybe not, Michael.
Nah. Top bloke he is.
Benny Harris, damn straight.
Pete Bulldog said, Critter told us to keep our hands up. It's just the beginning. There you go. And he's got the Lord Almighty on his side. Critter does. He's a very devout Christian. So
something on his side.
Hopefully that helps us. I hope it can. Because we need all the help we can get. But, we've got to keep being believers, Peter. And keep those hands up. Tails up. But, look, guys, I'm thinking we're coming to an end with the podcast tonight. Get pretty tired. Anything anyone else wants to talk about? As in you, Mark.
Well, let me just check out the merch here, Michael. All Things Bulldogs with your mug on the shirt. Oh, I wouldn't mind talking about the Dally M's. Did we talk about the Dally M's yet?
Talked about it last week.
Did we?
I was angry that Burton didn't win the 5-8 of the year because I think he had more points than Dearden.
What do you think about the point scoring system, Michael?
I think whatever system they come up with is going to be flawed.
Well, they got two judges now with 3-2-1 each. So it's not that much different to the way it was before, was it? So instead of people getting 3 points, get 6 points. They get 2 points, get 4 points. I think
they work it out together, though, don't they? They sit there together and.
So I think the Dally M's is a scam. Should be scrapped, and the clubs just roughly, and they do a very good job. The clubs of roughly naming their best players of the year.
So you think the clubs actually name their best players, but the Dally M isn't a reflection of that?
No, I think Dally M should be scrapped as in total ideal. And And upon that, let me just make mention of the Hall of Fame and Immortals. It's ridiculous if you can name Joey Johns above a Steve Mortimer or one of those type of guys. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get a bunch of media people though in a room. They think that they know, and they think they've got to get traction with it. It's all about them at the end of the day, and that's why we have those things happen. Like, it's hard to begrudge anyone who wins anything. I don't like doing that, but I do believe that you should have to. There should be an order of entry. You know what I mean? Like, there's a pecking order. Andrew Johns doesn't walk into that room until other people have walked in before him, who were there before him. I think it should have been done in stages, like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And if they have to name 50 people in at the start, name 50 people.
How did Andrew Johns come in before Mortimer or Sterling? I mean, what a joke.
Penny or Terry Land.
That's just ridiculous. That's just
or Ron Coote for that matter. How did he get in there before Ron Coote?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Controversy corner. Good topic.
Big corny there, Michael. Could be another post coming up soon.
Well, going back to Pete's question on where's Satilli going to play, I want to know what Pete reckons. So I'm going to have to bring him up and talk to him tomorrow about it, because I bloody don't know.
Let's get Pete on the blower.
We will. Pete Bulldogs, what do you think Tigers will go in 2025? I think they will look like a much better team, Peter, and I think they will compete hard and they'll lose a lot of games still, but I think they will look like a better side, and hopefully their fans will notice that, not just notice the win and loss column. And hopefully that's the same for us.
Yeah, look, they're going to have the best two halves going around in Galvin and Luai, and Laurie at the back, Appy Coruscant in the number 9, Clemmer. Wow, it's not a bad side. I think they'll go pretty good next year.
On paper, they've had a good side for 2 years. Like, if they could get them playing as a team and playing well. But, yeah, I think the key is these young guys just developing and getting the right people in the right positions around them, and hopefully that works. Yeah, well done to Birdo being named for the Kangaroos. And Jacob Carraz was also in the extended squad but was injured. Yeah, thank you too, Lucas. You've contributed a lot, and thanks to everyone who's come on and said hello tonight.
Thanks, Lucas.
Thank you, Mark, for joining.
Michael, no expense spared, as usual.
It's good having a chat with you, mate. Not sure who's on next week. Could be D, could be Brad. Brad, one of the guys, has been on before. Could be Mark again. We'll see what happens. Could be Pete Noonan. Could be Jimmy Rustler. But all right. Time to go, everyone. Thank you for joining, and we'll chat to you soon. Thanks, Mark. Much appreciated.
Guru from the Guru.
Hooroo.